Do, 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 do.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
Well, here. This is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski with, I think...
DJ.
Yeah, there you go. And here's, I bet you I know who this is. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I just want to let you know, Kaz, did you have that meeting over there on 10th and Peach at the Y?
I talked to the lady, and it's going to be interesting. Are you a member there?
I'm the one on 300 State Street, but there's a couple guys who are in wheelchairs that want to go to 10th and Peach.
Yeah, are you a member with the Y?
No ramp there.
Okay, you're not a member, right?
I'm a member of the Y.
Yes. Okay, here's what I was told. Now, I can get you a number of someone to call if you want to, go further with it. Because it's an old building, they do not have it accessible from the outside. Now, here's the problem. Once you get in there, and you'd have to have somebody, this is weird, but it's, it happened with older buildings. Someone would have to get you up the stairs.
Oh, they don't have no elevators?
Yeah, inside the building, but here's the problem. The problem is you got, in the back side and the front side, it's a building that was built, I think, back in 1910.
Yeah.
So unless they do any major renovations, they just don't have the funds to make it accessible easily. But if somebody could lift you up, and this is what happens at some buildings.
Yeah.
If someone could get you, I even asked her. I said, "Is there any way they can put like a small ramp in there, a portable ramp?" And I guess the way the building's laid out, they can't because of the steepness, So what would happen is if you can get into the building. She said the pool is handicap accessible. We have elevators and everything else, but the problem.
10th Street.
Yeah, the problem is the outside of the building. But she said you're free with your membership, and you could probably use Lyft or somebody to get you there.
Right.
You're free to use the East Side and Glenwood, which are both very handicap accessible from the outside and the inside. They're newer buildings. I know that may be a little inconvenience, but maybe with Lyft you can get out there. But in the near future, I'll keep talking to her. She gave me a number if you'd like to, express your views.
Yeah, but the only thing is, if you talk to the code enforcement and all that.
Yeah, well, we can't force them to do it because it's an old building, okay?
It's an old building, but see, in other words, they must have stairs towards the back where you couldn't get around to get to the elevator.
Well, she said there's I asked her about the rear of the alleyway there.
Yeah.
She said there's 3 steps there that are quite a challenge.
Right.
And in the front, how that is. You can see that from the front. That's a pretty hefty stairwell.
Yeah.
And if you were to build a ramp up there, with the proper angles, and that would be a work of art. So unless they do a major renovation on that building, and you're talking about.
What about something like that?
Well, it's a little tough in the front, though.
Yeah.
Because you ever see the front of the Y?
Yeah.
That's a pretty steep stairwell.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, you got to be able to... but she said once you get into the building, if somebody could lift you up or, a couple of friends, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
How many floors do they utilize there?
In other words,
I think they're using them all now, but some of it is... they got youth programs on the top floor.
Because down there, men used to go there and they lived in the apartments like $10 a week.
When they closed them down, but I think now there's a youth program up there.
if you went on the side of the building, you still couldn't get in there at all.
I don't know. Maybe they got it set up for security. You know what? I'm going to take a personal trip up there.
Yeah.
And just walk around a little bit on my own and talk to her.
The ramp into an L shape where they wouldn't have to block the sidewalk.
Yeah, the trouble is you got to remember you got to keep the angles. There's all kinds of restrictions now on how much of an angle you can have.
Right, yeah.
That's why you see some of these things. They look like a maze because they can't pitch the angle too high.
Yeah, but see, like, it wouldn't do you any good to give me a phone number to go further with it, because they're not going to listen to me.
Well, you could, you know, I mean,
You don't have the funds for it.
you never know unless you can get a lot of your friends to talk to them. You know, I'm sure that, you know, like I say, I'll take a personal tour up there.
Yeah.
Because I remember the building from years ago, but you know,
In other words, if they made a ramp in the back, and once you get into the building, then there's a pair of stairs there. You can't get around in other words, the elevator must not go all the way to the first floor then, huh?
I don't know. I haven't been in that building in years.
I haven't been in there in a long time.
I know I used to use the Glenwood Y when, you know, years ago, but
Yeah.
I'll take a ride in there and see if, you know, I mean, I'll take a walk around a little bit. I'll call the lady I was talking to, and we'll see if there's a solution. But a lot of times with old buildings, it's just a real hassle.
Yeah, because the woman I talked to at 300 State Street,
Yeah.
because she works in both buildings.
Right.
Her name is Monica.
But like she said, you know, if you want and you can get out there,
And she said that won't never happen, she said.
what, to start, you mean fixing it?
Oh,
Well, it would take a major renovation to trigger that, and I don't know if the Y has the money to,
yeah.
you know, they're just coming out of, like Stemka, Ronnie asked me, he said, you know, years ago when the guy stayed there, they closed some of that building down. Now they reopened it recently
Right.
for youth programs and stuff,
Top
but
3 or 4 floors.
you know, they're in competition now with, you know, all these health clubs and gyms.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're trying to keep their head above water. You know, when we were a kid, the Y was a big deal. You didn't have all these athletic clubs. You had the boys club, the Y. Now you got all these
I used to go
gyms.
to the
And,
boys club. I never went there.
where?
The boys club on 7th Street.
Well, see, we went
closed
where I
it.
lived. We went to the other, you know, the other Y.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you can get out there, she said the other two are very well equipped both ways. But if you can get inside the building, she said on 10th Street, if there's some way somebody could get you up there, like in, you know,
Just say, go out to Harbor Creek, take the lift there.
Once you got inside there,
then they got elevators. Right? She said, and they got.
get into the elevator. You can't get near the elevator then, right?
I guess, and then I want to take a look at where it is because like I say, I haven't been in there in years.
I'm going to go with you because I've never been in there.
Yeah, we can
I think
go in.
There's always an answer. There has to be a
Yeah,
way to have a
When
temporary.
you take a tour into that building, then I'll call you when you're going to do it. When I'll ask you or I'll ask Lori or Rose and see if you. When will you go there and take a tour through it, please?
Oh, when I get a day off, when I'm not, there's nothing I got to worry about, and I can
Yeah, okay, all
I can
right.
coordinate with DJ here.
Yeah, all right.
Like I say, I haven't been in there in years, and I remember. If I remember, it was kind of, well, a lot of those buildings like the old library. You know, they were old Greek column type buildings.
Yeah, they were going to tear it down. Look at it today. Beautiful building.
That's it, you know.
And they were going to tear it down.
But if they were to do any major renovation, that would trigger, you know, all kinds of. That's why a lot of these old buildings are afraid to even tackle that because
Yeah.
you got to replace so much stuff that.
Right.
That's why the girls explained to me. She said,
I'm going to ask you.
if he could get out to the Glenwood Y or the East Side
It
Y.
wouldn't be closing.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay, we'll see you.
Bye.
Yeah, let's go have a look. I want
Yeah.
to check that out because I know there's going to be a temporary solution.
Look at the building on 12th and State. They tore it down. They said it'd take a month to tear it down. It took 2 or 3
You
months.
mean you're talking about the Commerce Building?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
they were
was a
going to
good
blow it up,
building.
remember?
Yeah, that was one of the best buildings downtown to tear apart. It took them a long time. They put their little credit you in the park on.
Well, you don't remember when they tore down the Lawrence, do you?
Where?
The Lawrence Hotel?
Oh, yeah.
They took a ball. It looked like you see those giant balls at the end of and the crane would go out over 10th Street, take it almost near the Y. And then he'd come in, bam, and it like took 2 or 3 hits and the wall would just shake.
See, back in those days, you had about 5 or 6 shows. You had the Lawrence Hotel. You had everything buzzing downtown. What
Yep.
do you have now?
Go ahead, caller.
Just a reminder, Kaz, we're having our neighborhood watch meeting tonight.
Yeah, it might be a little tight. I have a couple other meetings. I'll try to get there, but I might not make it tonight.
Okay.
But thanks for the call.
Yep, okay, thanks.
Okay.
You get a list for the streets yet?
Pardon?
You get a list for the streets they're going to do this year?
No, they haven't sent that down yet. We'll get it.
This is May already.
Yeah, they'll put it together. I'll get it for you.
Davidson's going to finish the other half of Davidson.
I'll check. I don't think they...
They did a half last year. It took them 2-3 years to get that done.
What's that?
Davidson, from 33rd Street down.
Well, they do it in sections because...
Now you got to go back up and finish the other half.
Do you want to know how to get it done right?
What?
I have to carry you out here in a stretcher. Okay? I mean, if those things with the water turn you off...
What?
You have enough trouble comprehending the water bills, okay?
Right.
So if I tell you what my idea is, you might have a heart attack here.
Well, I just talked to a woman from Mill Creek,
What?
and she just got her water bill because they switched over. Mill Creek city took over the Mill Creek. She said she was paying $92 every quarter. Okay, now she gets the new bill. It's $128. Now that's a big increase for a woman that's on fixed income. That's where I'm pointing my finger at. But you got your ways. And
Yeah, but here, let me explain something to you.
we did this 10,000 times.
I don't feel sorry for Mill Creek, okay? I can't, okay? We built that water plant in the city of Erie, okay? That was our baby, okay? Now these people move out there and they're crying, okay? Well, they're the ones that wanted to join, okay? Yeah, it's going to hurt some people, but you know what? I don't pay that much. Okay, I don't.
Would I say I pay 120?
I don't know how much water some people. I'm pretty thrifty on mine.
120. My wife.
How much you use?
It comes out to $120 a quarter, but I'm going to the gym all the time. I'm taking showers and I don't even use the water.
Here, I had to put in. I noticed a big difference. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Kaz, I called you about the meeting tonight.
Yes.
If there's any people listening, we had some problems in different neighborhoods on Friday. So in case anybody's in those neighborhoods around there and they have problems, they should come to the meeting.
Oh, yeah, you know why I got you on the phone? Cinco de Mayo's coming up. That'll be a mess.
Oh, well, over the week, this weekend is the Spring Fest.
Yeah, and then they got Cinco de Mayo is they'll probably be celebrating that probably this weekend.
That's on the 5th, I think.
Yeah, and then
But
I had a little problem Friday night, and I called the police, and not much was done, and I said, this is getting out, I'm telling you, it's getting out of hand.
oh yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, I mean, they wonder why people are, walking over the border, and it's not for the weather either,
They wonder why people don't want to move into these neighborhoods.
Well, I had to listen to incessant honking at the top of my hill when they had the sign, you honk, we drink.
Oh, well, we didn't have that yet, but when you get 300 kids in a house.
Yep, I used to have that at the top of my hill. That was years ago until that girl got the deck peeled away and.
Yeah, the deck fell.
Yeah, people thought I was lying and making it up. I said, oh no, I had cars halfway down the street, and then it was like walking from the campus. You could see them walking over Pine Avenue. There was 200, 300 kids a night shuttling in and out of a house.
Well, now what they do is, weather permitting, when it's warm, they'll get up on the roof with chairs.
Yeah, they're having that trouble all over different parts of the Commonwealth. We got a thing in our mail about they're looking at different laws.
Now, what if somebody fell off that roof? Is the homeowner responsible? Who is responsible for that?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be the lawyer on that one. But I would say, how do you hold the the landlord responsible? That's bad behavior. But in today's litigious society, who knows?
Well, if I was a homeowner, I'd want a neighbor that was there to alert me and tell me, and I'd get over there and have those kids off of that roof.
Oh yeah, I'd kick them out so fast that you want to take me to court? Go ahead.
Well, but there's a lady there that tried to take a picture, but it didn't come out right. And she said she's afraid to call the owner, who she knows, because he'd say that she's harassing him. So,
well, the trouble is, that's a good question. What would you would think that you know, how can you, what do you do, seal up the windows? You're not allowed to do that legally.
Yeah.
So how do you stop kids from climbing a roof or putting a ladder up there, you know?
Yeah.
Well, they not only put a ladder, but they put chairs up there. So
Oh, yeah, they
that's doing something to your roofing, too.
yeah, you would think, but these landlords apparently don't care, you know.
They don't care, as long as they're getting their money.
Yeah, like I say, this honking will drink crap, and then I was hoping the rain would put them away, but then he got a tent out.
Yeah, well, they filled up a truck, put a plastic inside of a truck and filled it up with water. And they were jumping in that truck.
Yeah, there you go.
They had like a little swimming pool in the bed of a truck.
I mean, if they want to be kids, fine. Do that on campus. Don't do it in our neighborhood, you know.
Well, they're going to be doing that probably on Springfest.
Oh, yeah, and then, like I say, Cinco de Mayo, they'll probably combine that.
Yeah,
That'll be one for the books.
they should be on the lookout.
Yep.
So we had bottles and cans and papers and all kinds of things. People urinating all over houses and.
Yeah, I had a couple trying to, one day, under my cherry tree, they were playing Martha and George.
Oh, uh-huh.
The Washingtons.
Yeah.
And I think they were trying to create a third Washington.
Oh,
Yeah.
and it's still going to be here for another, I think, 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not supposed to notice that, you know.
Gannon and Barron, I think, will be out the first week. And I think Mercyhurst is going to be in for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, boy, I wish we had public service of the draft back. That would calm some of these things down.
But as weather gets warmer, these kids get cranked up even more.
Yep.
Like they should be out of here.
And their parents are even worse when you see them come.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, 3 weeks, if we can handle another 3 weeks, we'll be okay.
Yeah, if we make it, right? But then why? Then you got to worry about next year, and you shouldn't have to do that, you know.
Well, the quicker they get them up on campus, I don't know, but that might not be a good idea because other schools will come in.
Yeah, that's, you know, read that. That's why when you read that report by Mr. Buki, you know, he addresses issues like that not properly addressed at the proper time, and they turn into something.
Oh yeah, it gets into a bigger deal then.
Yeah, then you got, you know, pretty soon you got nobody left.
They're talking about creating good neighborhoods. Well, you're not going to create good neighborhoods that way.
Well, here's a start. Start cracking down where you can, you know, before it gets big.
That's why a lot of people kind of don't come because they say nothing is being done.
And it isn't. I gotta agree with them. Nothing is being done.
Nothing is being done.
Nothing.
Well, maybe we'll see you tonight.
Okay, I'll try. Like I say, if I get out of that other meeting in time, I'll be there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
So we lost $10 million, the county did, huh?
Yeah.
No, that was $10 million that could have balanced the budget, couldn't it?
I don't know where they got the money from. Go ahead, caller.
How are you guys doing this morning, this afternoon?
What do you mean?
Well, it's raining out here, and the grass is growing, and the TVs are growing along the sidewalks. And
Well, yeah, that and the couches. Couches and TVs. I never knew there were so many in Erie.
Wow.
What do you think?
what do I think? I called code enforcement, and I think the mayor's right. We should get another code enforcement officer so he can get a fat check and do nothing, too.
So I guess I take by your comment that you got the user response from code, right?
Talked to the young lady down there, and she said they'd look into it, and by God, it's still there. So I called Ms. Beck this morning, and I asked her.
Yeah, what'd she say?
They're doing down there, and she said she was going to get a hold of Mr. Zimmerman. And I said, well, when you do, I'd like a return call from you to tell me what the situation is going to be.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be putting TVs out. That's number one.
Well, you know, the whole thing, they know the rules and regulations. Code enforcement knows the rules and regulation, and they're just blatantly ignoring it. Both code enforcement and the people.
Well, it's just like that, you know, somebody asked me yesterday again for about the umpteenth time about the 12th and East Side Connector, you know, that factory over there.
Yeah.
And when's that going to be fair? I just coming down there.
Good luck. I mean, we keep hearing that the district justice We're told keep citing them, but nothing.
That's the biggest eyesore
But nobody
in the city.
nobody ever gets fined or goes to jail. It seems like.
It's up to the mayor. Let the mayor get off his
Well,
ass.
it's in the
and do
hands.
it.
If it's in the hands of the district justice, then he's sitting on
Who's the
it.
justice up there?
I think that's Urbaniak up there.
Maniac? You sure?
I think.
That's in the city.
Yeah.
Or they should call the.
I mean, he's been cited. This guy, he's been. Council was told that the district justice issued an order, but that was 2 years ago, and nobody's gone to jail, and nobody's got fined.
What's going on here? The people we have, we're supposed to be enforcing, sitting on their ass and laughing about it.
Well, and then if the judiciary's not doing their part, then what do we got? You know.
District justice should release it and turn it into the county court system.
Well, you know, when you read like the Buki report, once again, the comprehensive plan, he cites that about blight. You know, and that. I mean, you think of people that come into the city or are leaving the city, and they see that. What do you think that makes them feel comfortable?
You come down the interstate there,
and you got your
Penn
safety
State.
inspector for the city.
Yeah.
The fire inspector, he's not doing his job then. Because he should go down and he should file a report, and then he should take it to the proper authorities.
See, they'll wait until something happens, like they did with the other building that on French Street.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we always wait. You know, and you know the trouble is,
Somebody's going to get killed before it's said and done.
John, you and I remember the golden days. Remember 138,000 people?
Yes.
Now, this problem didn't happen overnight.
Now, it kept escalating.
Right. It's what they call the broken window syndrome. You don't jump to one guy that's got a broken window, so then you got two broken windows. Then you got three, and still nobody does anything. Now you got so many broken windows, there ain't no way in the world you can bring this baby into the barn. You ain't got enough code people. You ain't got enough. You let it get too far out of hand. When it was manageable, when you had the one window, like I point out this, I got one house on my block that's abandoned. How long before I get a second one? Now's the time to crack down on the one house before you got two houses, right?
That's true.
But when you get two houses and three houses, then all of a sudden you wake up one morning, it's half the block, you lost it, it's out of control.
And it all stems back to one department.
Yep, whether it's their fault or
Code enforcement.
or whether they were ordered not to do things, whatever you wish to believe. But it goes back to you let things slip.
Why don't you call the mayor and see what the
Forget
mayor
all
could do?
your.
You remember, John? You remember when we were young what they did with people at sidewalks, right?
Yes.
We had an inspector. He'd come by. Would they tell you fix it or we do it and we lean you?
True.
You know, you don't have the sidewalks we do now where they're lifting, tree roots are pulling them up.
That's true.
Yeah, and you got. I drive around town yesterday, and some of the curbs you got water backed up. These are streets that were just fixed.
Oh, you mean that's because they're not draining the drains properly?
Yeah, I mean, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap. Nobody. They just don't care. They just, they're going to say, well, have you yeah, I complained, but you know what?
So when you have
I'm getting like everybody else.
And all that, yeah, they ought to check them and check the fall of them, and they don't.
Yeah, they always say, what do you want us to do? I don't know. I am not that's not my job title.
Well, it's to get the mayor to do
More
something.
people there inspecting.
No, what I mean is,
don't pay them until it's draining properly.
Hey, look, it's not the mayor or council, okay?
He could go after and get the.
Yeah, he needs to go after people, but it really comes down to the people that when we do this stuff, who signs off on it? Who said it's okay? Okay, who inspects these things? It's obvious somebody's like, we should not have to tolerate
shoddy workmanship.
Yeah, whatever reason, when you hit a dip and pounds down and you lose half your tire because you things like that or
Driven in other cities, and I have never run across manholes where you gotta be careful because you're getting thumped in other cities. Why is it up here? Tell me they don't have the rings and the know-how to go ahead and do this.
Well, we don't. Here's another one, John. Do you ever notice how many streets are closed? And I don't ever remember them getting permission to close them. Man, you drive around town and they got this street closed, that street closed. improper signage warning you so that, you drive down a one-way street and all of a sudden, now you got to drive back up a one-way street illegally to get out of the mess.
Yeah, you think you're in Pittsburgh as far as the signs and driving is.
Yeah, we're just too loose. I'm telling you, we're loose as heck, and it's
One
driving.
more thing before I'll get on and let somebody else get a shot. When has the mayor decided to go ahead and hire for a department? Now, I heard Mursky say he's going to have the clerk check into this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have Jim Clem. He's aware of all this. He's an archivist. He's getting $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Him go ahead and do that. Yeah. I understand Sue wants to hire outside, but the mayor wants to hire somebody from the inside, which I agree with.
Well, wait a minute. No, John, here, let me explain the problem to you.
Nobody bid on the job.
Yes, it's open for the public from the outside.
Right.
Okay, the people that, what I've been told, the people from the inside are at-will employees.
Not if they belong to Ask Me.
They don't belong to Ask Me. But they're gonna.
Don't belong to Ask Me.
But they're going to have to belong to Ask Me when they get the job. Okay. Right now, nobody in the union bid on the job.
I do understand that.
So anybody that would come in, and the people that Sue wants to bring in, and the people the mayor want to bring in, are not Ask Me employees.
Right. So they go through the interview process.
Well, the argument is, does she have the right to interview the person?
I think she should.
I think so too, but that's where the disagreement is.
She should tell the mayor she likes this person.
Well, that's where the argument is right now. The mayor feels like he should do it. She feels like she should do it. And
did the mayor ever stick his nose in before about hiring people?
Well, they always have. It's always been a battle. But I was always taught years ago that elected officials are independent. That's their office. Council is independent, treasurer is independent, the controller is independent, and the mayor administers the rest of the city. Now, people can disagree with that comment. That was given to me by wise men, a lot wiser than me, that spent a lot more years on council. And I'll let you figure out who those people were, but there were many of them that told me that. Not just one, not just two, but that's where we're at right now.
Well, I hope it pans out, and if nobody in there wanted to bid for the job, she should select her person. If they meet the qualification, get the bonding issues and all that settled, then she should sit down with the mayor, and they should come to an amicable decision. But if they're both going to play hardhead, she's going to be working short without a person.
Well, that's the problem. It'll be solved before that, I think.
Yeah, well, don't forget he's gone in another year, so we're going to finally get a Republican mayor in this city, and some things will be done properly.
Give me a call off the air, and I'll explain a couple of things to you, okay?
I'll talk to you later then.
Okay.
Second, we were talking about...
Go ahead. Hey,
you haven't said nothing so far.
I finally have a question.
Go ahead.
So, what do we do about the blight? You say do we need to get inspectors in there?
Well, it doesn't do any good unless, when you read the Buki report, okay, now...
What's this Buki report?
Is that public now?
You can get it on the internet.
Okay.
It's a comprehensive plan. Just go to the city website.
Yeah.
It's about I think it's about 100. I read it coming back on the airplane. Read it twice, actually, cover to cover. It's a lot of pie in the sky, some of it.
Yeah.
But it's a good guide to what's wrong. We didn't need him to tell me. Most people know it, but it's nice to have a guy tell you what you already know.
Right.
Because now it's an outsider that supposedly you hope has done the research and backed it up with numbers. We can drive around and we know what the problem is. So how do you tackle blight? Okay. Obviously, you have to start selectively, and this is where the money comes in. It would be easy to go down and tear down houses, but you don't have the money, you don't have the legal right to. So it comes down to you have to start finding ways to, and the state's going to have to help us because we're not the only city that has blight now. A lot of the big cities are
countries like that.
A lot of the big cities are in trouble. You look at Detroit, they had some other cities I was watching on the on the website. So you have to have laws that allow you to, call CULL the buildings, get rid of the bad ones,
Right.
or force people, try to endeavor people to come in. So many of the people that buy, I was told, I was wondering why people come in, they buy these properties on repository but never do nothing.
Yeah.
Then a businessman told me, well, what they do is they take these houses, they bank them in their asset portfolio, they use them as leverage to get a loan somewhere else. They have no desire to fix this one up. It's just to value the land, they're leveraging a loan somewhere else, They pledge that as collateral, but, what are you pledging? An old house?
Yeah.
That land is about the only thing that's worth anything in some of those areas. And like Buki's report said, some of the properties just are not worth renovating. You could put tons of money in there and you're never going to get the value out of it. It's cost ineffective, so it would be better to gut it, make a park out of it, or acquire property and put a couple nice, the whole thing is he sees the city as downsizing in population. Some people don't want to see that,
How many people coming in the area? How many foreigners are coming in a month now?
Well, the mayor, challenged that ruling and he won, because I believe, like the mayor does, I don't believe they're all counted.
No, they're not.
We're just a little over 100,000. I think we're actually higher than that.
Probably 110,000.
Could be, but a lot of them are illegal. A lot of them don't answer the census. Okay, the school district has a pretty good idea how many kids are, because they got to register them. Whether they're illegal or not. Okay, so they have a good idea, but you can't release those numbers. That's where the bull crap comes in with the government. So, but getting rid of blight, yeah, you have to be very, like hiring that new code enforcement guy that's going to work one selective area under a grant. Mm-hmm. Okay, under a grant where they got that okayed. Okay, if you can start citing people and start doing something, the blight will start disappearing slowly. Yeah. It's not going to go away overnight.
Yeah. What are they doing for jobs in this
But it's very simple, like my area. I got one house in my block. Okay, start hammering that guy.
Yeah.
Before that blight before the people next door to that house start saying, do I want to live next door to it?
Right.
Do I want to see little critters climbing into the windows?
Well, I'm not even thinking just about, the houses and all the houses, the blight of the houses, but what about this big mess at 12th and Bayfront?
There's another thing. Somebody's got to say to is it the district justice's fault? Is it our fault? Whose fault is it? Somebody's fault.
What about getting all those people that are potentially at fault into a meeting and working it out?
Well, I can tell you this. If I was the one calling it, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
One way or the other, I'd want to know the answer. And I tell you,
the judges and
and if nobody's going to do nothing, I want to know that, because I'm going to tell everybody. I'm going to tell everybody nobody wants to do anything.
You got the bill. How much would it cost to put I-beams and stuff the way it is now, and just take that off and frame that all up? You'd save millions of dollars because the frame's already there.
They're worried about a few workers that are in there and a few jobs, but what's going to happen if that building blows off into the highway, or it collapses?
Yeah.
Or the sheeting starts ripping off and flying every which way. After a while, you got to start.
Well,
and when you talk about blight, it's not just that; it's the graffiti around town,
right,
the shape of the sidewalks, the roads, dead trees. It's all.
Yeah.
I mean, if you walk right now, a couple blocks away from Gannon University, and you can see why they're interested in that grant that they're trying to push.
Yeah.
Because how would you feel if you're a parent and you go one block off the main beaten path, and all of a sudden you go, "Ooh, what's this?"
Yeah.
Now we're not on campus anymore,
Well, that's all got to get taken care of, but I think you should start with the biggest, worst thing, and then after that it's easy.
Now he would say the report says no, and I want you to read the report.
Okay.
He says no.
I think that once you tackle the biggest one, all the other ones become easier.
He says you don't just take the worst one. What you do is they've laid out the city in 3 color zones. Okay?
Yeah.
Red being the worst, yellow being transitional, green being in good shape, but still at risk.
Sure.
There's only 3 areas in the city that are not considered at risk.
Where's that?
I figured them out.
On the Upper East Side of up 38th Street?
No, South Shore, Glenwood, and Frontier. Okay?
That's all.
The Fifth Ward, where I live, is considered stable but at risk, which means if they don't keep an eye on it, like when this woman calls about kids and all that, if they don't, or if they're not proactive with it, then it will slip. And when that slips, do you think they're going to stop at the Grandview Street? Do you think things just stop right there? No, it goes, you know, the report Buki had was, he said, you try to pick out the areas where you stabilize the areas that are yellow or green, you know, you keep them nice and strong. And then you selectively go into the red zone where your cost, there's a benefit to what you put in and what you get out. Like if you have a building that it would take $60,000 to renovate, and it's only going to be $40,000 when you get done with it, or $50,000, just not worth it.
Right.
Okay? But you look at the buildings and the areas like he pointed out, if downtown is the key to your development, then you certainly want the borders around your businesses. We don't have many businesses, remember that. So if you got like nice restaurants downtown and you got your entertainment district, it makes sense to, around those areas, like around the Civic Center and all that, it makes sense to renovate those neighborhoods. Okay? That's where it becomes cost effective. It gets a little tricky when you get into areas that are really blighted, you know. And then you have to say, his suggestion was that you build a series of parks, okay, and you tear down the worst blight, and then you try to, the other people, hopefully they have parks and everything, and you try to turn it around. It's not going to be easy. I mean, you're talking about a 20 to 30 year plan. And the cost on that project...
Gee, we won't be around me.
And the cost, if you were to do it, you want to take a guess what it would be? 650
That's all.
million.
That's all. Pen money.
Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey.
I heard from the underground that they're supposed to do something with East Avenue from 32nd to 38th. Back when they did that micro finish on there,
Yeah.
the sewer on the corner, when the bus used to go the other way, they changed the direction of the route now. When that bus made the turn, it caved in the sewer. The sewer department came up and filled in the blacktop twice. Now that sewer is still way down below the street level.
Where is that? That's at what street?
34th.
34th and East Avenue, right?
Filled it in twice, the asphalt. Now, if they're going to do this street over again,
Right.
why don't they fix these sewers ahead of time?
But didn't they a few years ago put a new pipeline through there in the middle of the street?
Yeah.
And he just covered it up, and it's been there like that forever, you know?
That was done by, Mill Creek had to pay for that.
Yeah. Okay, now,
Mill Creek did.
something else is, there isn't one handicap ramp from 38th to 32nd Street.
Right. Now, here's what they told me about that. I don't know. I can find out where it is on the the to-do list, because it has to be done before we're done with all of our streets. But if you're right about, if they do fix that street, then that's what they call a trigger event. That will automatically make the ramps go in. Outside of that, they probably have it on a long-range plan. It's probably in the last phase. But I'll try to find out for you where it is, you know, in reference to when it's going to be done.
I happened to pick up a sandwich shop on East 38th Street across from Tim Hortons. So you know who I mean.
Right.
Parked next to a city truck that looked like a supervisor, and I said, when are they going to fix something, do something with East Avenue? And he says, with the extra money that they have, with the mild winter that we have, something's in the works to do something with the East Avenue.
Well, I hope it's more than just another, micro coating.
I don't know, that'll be something.
Yeah, because that is a major artery, really. And you'd be surprised, that report that came out from the gentleman that we were talking about, in that report, he says that rather than do what we're doing now, which is putting money in different parts of the city to keep everybody happy, what you need to do is pick out the major roads wherever they are and make sure that they're taken care of first and then done properly.
Because East Avenue is a main thoroughfare.
Well, sure, and just like I would agree with anybody else, there's roads on both sides of the city, and north and south. They're key roads. We all know what they are.
Okay, now when they did this microfinish,
Yeah, and do them right. Just spend the money on them. You don't have to do my road right away. If you do the ones I use more so, the big main ones.
when they did this microfinish, the supervisor of the outfit that was doing the sewer called what's his name, Tuchak? I can't.
Yeah.
The head of engineering.
Yeah, John Tuchak.
Right. They called him over and told him, look at the sewer. And he says the sewer should be done before we do the sewer. So that's when they come out and just filled it in with blacktop. So I know the whole structure of the sewer itself is caving in.
Yeah, and that's not good.
It's been done.
Yeah.
But I'll try to find out where those ramps are on the schedule, and I'll see if I can do a little nosing around for you.
Okay.
Hey, how's your garbage pickup been lately?
Comes and goes. Sometimes 2 trucks, sometimes everything in one truck.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
Was last week the last pickup week or that?
We got one more week, I think.
Yeah, one more week
Well, I think let me see. This will do it though.
this week.
Like my Thursday is.
It's mine's Thursday too.
I think might get picked up this week.
The last shot.
Yeah, that'll be it then.
But like
I put stuff out and it was picked before the city ever saw it.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, like I said, Marion Street hasn't been done for years, and that's about the only one street that's hasn't been done up.
Well, here's what the report says about like Marion and these places. Now this is cruel, but it makes sense if you think about it. Go ahead, caller.
Kaz, I hate to get biblical with you, but I'm not my brother's keeper.
What do you mean?
If you're going to raise my taxes and borrow more money so you can fix up somebody else's house, you're going to chase people out of the city of Erie.
No, I didn't say that. I said.
Oh, but that's what Berkey said.
Well, yeah, Berkey, he can say what he wants, but then he gave us suggestions, but it's going to be up to us. But
Kaz, honestly, I read Kevin Flowers' article this morning, and whatever day you're going to have a public hearing, you're going to have a public hearing that starts at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest issues confronting the city of Erie.
Right.
You're having it at 8 o'clock at night, and none of you guys want to stay there after 9 o'clock. So what the hell are you going to get accomplished? Nothing.
You mean 9 o'clock at night?
I mean, nothing's going to happen. You're going to make your presentation, and then you're going to browbeat the citizens that come up there because that's how things happen down there. Citizens to be heard is like a poison to city council.
Well, something has to be done.
Oh no, something has to be done because your people are going to vote with their feet, Kaz. They're leaving.
Well, here's the problem, Rich.
Yeah, I know.
If you do nothing, they're still going to leave.
Oh yeah.
So I guess the nice thing I want to hear from the public, maybe somebody comes up with an idea, but Buki was very specific about one thing.
Yeah.
He said you can't depend on Washington and Harrisburg.
No.
Because they got a big mess everywhere.
Yeah, but Kaz, the biggest thing I went down to the feed store on Parade Street. I can't think of the name.
Nickel Plate. Nickel Plate.
Yeah. And we bought some bird food and stuff. But as I was going from like 26 and Parade down, there's a lot of houses that got knocked down.
Right.
I mean, there's holes in the streetscape, but it looks better than having a dump there. You're going to have somebody with some knowledge that rides around and puts a big red X on some of these places, and we're got to get rid of the worst. However you do that, I'm not sure because it's going to be complicated. Turn it into a green space.
Well, that's what Buki said. You were at the same meeting I was. Remember at the Jewish temple there, at the Jefferson.
And
I was telling these guys what he says is, rather than take a house that's, like I use the analogy, it's going to be worth $60,000. You got to put 80 into it.
Yeah.
He's saying, and I kind of agree with him. Tear it down, and either acquire land for a park or what you could eventually use for housing if somebody comes in and wants to build. Independent guys. Maybe what we might have to do is be very, how do you say, innovative with some of the builders.
Do we still have that?
DJ, about something you said, attacking one whole neighborhood. Mr. Berkey said that one thing you have to always be aware of, if you have a nice neighborhood and you see one house that's starting to stray, you go after that house that's starting to stray, because that stray house is going to turn that whole neighborhood into a bad area.
See, Rich, I use that. I have one in my neighborhood. Okay, been like that for 3 years.
Yeah.
How long before a second one shows up?
Oh yeah.
Or how long before the neighbors on each side say, do I want to watch critters crawling into this house all night?
Kaz, I bought my house 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was out working, and I didn't put my hammer away for a long time. And I was out working on the side of my house, and this old gentleman that lived down the street from me, he came walking by. He said to me, he says, I love what you're doing. He says, my house just went up $10,000. And that's what you got to instill in these people.
Well, that's what he said. If you remember the report, he said there's how much money's out there? 89 million? That people are not putting into their houses. Now, that's an estimate. He's saying that because you live let's say you live in a neighborhood where you go, do I really want to fix up my house? They want to put the money into it. I might not be here in 2 years. So he's saying that's lost money, okay? And if you take, when you listen to him, it was all about the guy I put on Blighted Review.
Oh, yeah.
Here's a guy that actually buys houses and fixes them up. In his neighborhood, okay? And that's what you need. You need people to... But we have to be more proactive. But, it's going to cost us money, too. But somehow we have to have a way to come up with... And that's why I'm not saying a land bank is a bad idea. But systematically, we got to start building some new houses. But we got to get builders, even if we have to give them a break... To get them to start, spending their own money, because let's face it, Buki put a price tag of $600 and some million.
That's low.
Yeah, I mean, but even at that, you said the right thing. I said, if we do that, okay, we're going to lose people. If we do nothing, we're going to lose people. I don't know what I admit I don't know what the answer is.
No, and because I don't pretend to either, but I know what we've been doing isn't working. We got 38,000 less people living in the city. So we've got too much housing sitting here that nobody's using that needs to be knocked down.
Rich, I'll give you 2 examples real quick, and then you can go if you want. But
okay.
It's the broken window syndrome. I said it earlier. You don't attack things like Buki said when they're small. So now all of a sudden, now you got a whole area or whole neighborhood shot. It then becomes costly. Where if the code people jump on somebody and keep jumping on them until they fix it. Now, all of a sudden that sends a message into that neighborhood that A, the city cares, and B, we better take care of our property. And then you get to the roads, okay? And he said, don't put money into. Our policy has been, let's make everybody happy. Well, I agree with this one gentleman. Maybe we don't pave my street. Maybe we don't pave Marion. But we pave those streets first that are identified as major arteries. We do them right.
Well, that goes from 38th right to Grandview.
But you're going to get mad at me, and I say, quit floating bond issues. But tell the public what you're going to do, and then do it. I say $1 million and a half of taxes, but tell the public this is going to be used only for roads, and then do it. Don't just piecemeal road. Don't piecemeal road. Do it right.
I think the confidence level of the citizens of Erie has sank to an all-time low. We've been subject to so many schemes, so many pie-in-the-sky ideas that have just piddled money away. Like that $3 million on that inland port
report that we gave to Elliott's group.
Yeah, you know, nobody, I will say this, I'll tell you now. We had a meeting with some officials from Harbor Creek.
Yeah.
And, you know, they expressed to us, and I said, we agreed, and I don't want to tell you who was there, but we all agreed that, hey, we'll take it in the city.
Yeah.
You know,
What happened? Yeah.
They didn't, it never registered in Mr. Elliott's eyes.
East Avenue to GE, you could have built the biggest unloading station that you could ever imagine.
And how about this? You know, they always say Father Jerry's a big complainer.
Yeah.
He would have been for that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Just like he's for this chemical plant that's coming in, you know.
How many people are they going to employ for that? That's
I'm going to let
A
you
couple
go.
hundred, but hey, yeah, you know, listen in, Rich.
Well, all right.
So, I mean, here, you know, he was saying, you know, when we talked to him, we said, we'll take that train. But they didn't want to talk about it. John Elliott didn't want to talk about it. It couldn't happen. They never even looked at it. And yet, there was many people there that...
Bob Plain, he was the dumbest guy we ever had in that.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Kaz.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Lloyd.
Yeah, Lloyd.
Hey, did you ever find out about the house on 24th Street?
No, I didn't get a definitive answer yet. Thanks for reminding me. I better get to work on that one.
Yeah, I know. It's over a year now.
Yeah, nothing moves fast in this place.
No, I was watching, the Downey County Executive. She didn't sign that paper, you know, the one that wanted to take the EMTA over.
Oh, wait, how do you make out on that?
I didn't hear what happened. What happened?
What's going on? You're supposed to. Last time I was here, we said, "Well, you have a meeting coming up to find out."
We have a meeting. We have a meeting with. Actually, we have a meeting with the Commonwealth coming up very shortly. They're finalizing the time and date now. Our hands are still extended out to County Council when they want to talk in a negotiating manner and not a.
Well, I'll tell you, I think what's going on here, they want to take that over and make it just like they do with the water authority. They want to have an authority, and they're going to put their buddies on there.
Well,
and that's what's going to happen.
I was told they promised some of the bus drivers that they would have jobs as county employees. I'm trying to verify that, but that's what I heard. Hey, Lloyd, you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
You know, two of the people I know work for the EMTA.
Right.
They said they don't trust the county. But who paid? Do we have to pay the bond, you know, when they build a building? I thought the city gave money for that building.
That was federal grants, weren't that? To build new building.
Lloyd's asking a question. They float the bonds as an authority, Lloyd?
Yes.
But I think, I'm not sure if it's a split between us and county, but a lot of the authorities, if they were to fail, the city would have to take them over. We are responsible for redevelopment, the parking authority. Now, like the civic center is under the county. The airport is a lot of it under the county. I'm not sure about EMTA. I got to check whether they're carried in our CAFRA. That means that we'd be, in our financial statements, it tells you which authorities, if they were to go under, we have to, you know, that's kind of like telling creditors when we take a bond issue out that this could be a problem, maybe not.
You know, I thought it started under Toyo, the bus company.
No, I think it goes back further than that.
No, I mean, okay, we had the old coach.
Yeah, the coach company was private.
And that Bluebird was private.
Well, Bluebird was it was
a bus company.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the city. That was a carrier. Mm-hmm. The only one was Erie Coach. When they went bankrupt, it was a private company. That went bankrupt, and so they decided to form, if I remember right, the EMTA. That was way back.
Yeah, 1967.
Right. So that was in response to a private company who went under.
Yeah, there were two bus companies. Remember, one on the west side and one on the east side.
I don't remember that. Which one was that?
Oh, God. The coach,
I thought there was only one company. That's all I ever thought was.
One on the other side where Hammond have now.
Yeah, they had green buses.
Right.
Yeah, and the other one was on the other side where the Mermaid Inn was.
No, it was the same company. They had different garages. One was a garage and one was like I don't know, the garage was approximately where Modern Tool was, where that parking lot is, I think.
No, right where Hammond is now. Hammond parking lot.
One was the garage and one was the offices, and I have to get somebody that goes back a little bit to...
Yeah, I know where it was. We used to sneak in the Mermaid Inn. When we were kids.
Did Carl Manders kick you out?
No, he did not.
He didn't?
No.
I'm going to have to talk to you, Lloyd. You got a dark side there.
Don't tell Barb that.
No, is she listening?
No, she's on the computer.
Okay, what happens on the show will stay on the show, okay?
Yeah, I know that. But, you know, what, I don't want to say it's just suck. Yeah, I told, who was it? You know, they 48% of the city.
I mean, it takes a bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you know, if we wouldn't pay our taxes, what would you do? Oh, he said we would sue you.
Who's that?
One of the county councilmen, I forget his name.
Oh, yeah, I remind him that we are at least 39 to 40%
48.
Yeah, I don't think it's that high anymore, but we're a little lower than that now, but we're still...
but back in the day, you had all kinds of industry on 12th Street, and everybody took a bus to work. Now, what do you got? There's no buses. I mean, there's no shops, no place to go to work.
Well, a lot of people take cars today. I mean, that's a reality. I mean...
Here, if you go to Walmart on Elm...
Yeah.
When I go there twice a week, there are 60, 70 people waiting for the buses.
Right, but they're not from the... You know, the people that go there, and the bus company will tell you this, they're not coming from the 5th and 6th Ward as much. You know, they're coming from the Lower East Side, and they're you know, the people that don't have cars and you know, access, and the elderly, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
how about time you go up there, huh?
That's why they keep telling us, well, why don't you run buses out to Fairview and all these places?
Ain't nobody gonna go take.
But nobody got to take us from Fairview.
Well, there may be a few, but they're not gonna, you know.
They ain't gonna be worth some
Hey,
money.
Lloyd, I gotta admit, there's not many people in my neighborhood that take the bus.
Nah.
You know, except for the school kids. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's, you know.
Yeah, they run them more for school kids now.
When I was young, and my mother used to take us on the bus downtown.
Yeah, you remember when the Saturdays was a busy day downtown?
Yep.
P.C. Murphy's, F.W. Woolworth's, Grant's.
And you go to the movie theater, and they were lined up outside for...
You had 5 different shows to go to.
45 cents you could watch a movie.
Yeah.
Oh, that was expensive.
That was cheap then.
Yeah, well, we was a quarter when I went.
Well, you can go to the 18th Street Theater for a quarter.
That was one of the last. There was 3 theaters on that area. 18th and Cherry, you know where that's at?
Yeah.
Used to be 3 theaters in that area.
Lloyd got caught with the old trick.
There used to be one at 10th and Parade, 11th and Parade.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Strip joint used to be the...
that was the Regent.
Yeah, the Regent. That's where all the hot movies were.
Well, it was a neighborhood theater when it was years ago.
Towards the end, it was a...
Yeah, it didn't take a good turn. But you had one in East Avenue. You had one...
26 and...
East Avenue.
That was
walk over.
That was the Roxy.
Yeah.
And then you had
Hilltop.
You had either the East or the Avenue Theater, where Bepco Jones had her office on East Avenue, right on East Avenue.
Oh, and there used to be one on 25th and Parade.
Yeah.
26th and Peach.
25th and Parade.
Yeah, right in that area. Yeah.
I don't remember that one.
That one I don't remember. There was let's see, there was a lot of them. But Lloyd used to pull the old stunt. You know what that was?
No.
Lloyd won't tell you this. He'd go in with a bunch of his buddies, and he'd say the last man's pay, he's got the money. Right, Lloyd?
Yep.
And then he'd sneak in, and usher come around with a flashlight looking for him.
They wouldn't find you.
Yeah, at some of those theaters, you didn't put your popcorn on the floor either.
No, you know why? The bugs were. The rats and that.
Oh, yeah, 18th Street, you have your feet up in the air. Them rats would run over your feet.
Oh,
anyway,
one
more thing. I got one.
The good old days, huh?
Yes.
I got one more subject.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Lloyd.
Hey, have a good week.
You too.
You too.
How about federal government coming in and doing The same thing that the county did when they borrowed the $27 million. Same thing that they're going to be putting in 2017 and 18. They're coming in to put that in. Why did the county have to borrow the $27 million?
Oh, you're talking about for the
communication system?
That's not anything we deal with on council. So I'd have to ask somebody. I speaking out of turn. I don't. You know what? I'll try to ask the chief or somebody who's involved in it.
Because this is public knowledge, they said.
Well, yeah, it is. But I mean, they're over there. That's their baby. This
is a taxpayer hotline, no matter if the city or the county.
Absolutely. But you know what? You see any county person wants to come on here and take their
because them guys are all wisp.
Call somebody and ask them to come on here and explain their positions.
So you want no one to go on here?
I want you to find one for me, okay? That'll be your mission.
Me?
Yeah, find one of have one of them come up here and explain it. Because I tell you what, council here doesn't have anything. We don't,
Well, you're not involved with that.
No, you're free to talk about it on here, but I can't tell you the kind of answer you want to hear because I'm not there with the.
Didn't we just have a county councilman on? And I'll leave it at that because we're out of time for the day.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, but we're out of time.
But he didn't talk about the.
Who was it?
Andre Horton.
Yeah, we're out of time.
But if you want to get you want to get somebody on here, we'll have them answer questions about the 9/11 system.
Yeah, because like I said, this is public knowledge. And they're putting the federal money's putting into it.
But I know you get mad. I know you get mad. But just like we have people come to the council meeting about what they call social service problems, that's not our baby. Okay, just like we don't expect people to go over there and talk about police and sidewalks and streets.
Well, I think if people start waking up in the city of here and see what's going on.
They got to go over to county council. And
am I right?
You got to go to those county council meetings and ask them questions. And with that, DJ,
have a great week. Don't forget garbage. No, I won that case.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.